to the AFC West Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things AFC West. From the best creators in the division, including Denver Broncos creator Ryan, Kansas City Chiefs creator Marcus, Las Vegas Raiders creator Samoan, and Los Angeles Chargers creators Bolt Bros. Catch the AFC West Roundtable every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on the AFC West Roundtable YouTube channel. AFC West Roundtable, welcome back into another episode here at the AFC West Roundtable, show brought to you by Roundtable Sports. We hope that you guys had a very good and, of course, a very safe holiday season. We're not done just yet. We got New Year's right around the bend, of course, but Roundtable Sports, we don't take off. We're here to give you guys the best damn football-related content here for the AFC West. Rain or shine, holiday or regular day, baby. So make sure you guys let us know. Where are you guys traveling for the New Year? You guys got any good plans? Let us know in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you guys. There's a lot of good games to get into here, but guys, we got some shorter games this week, right? There's not as much to get into. It's week 18. How many of these teams are going to be resting their starters anyway? I say real quick, I mean, it's New Year. Let's go around the circle real quick. Let's have a little bit of holiday fun. You guys, by the way, guys, I didn't tell the guys on the panel we were going to do this before we started the show, so I'm really putting them on their toes here. But I want to know, what is your guys' New Year's resolution as we enter 2026? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I think maybe we can give the viewers maybe some ideas on what their New Year's resolutions can be here in 2026. Ryan, let's start off with you. Is it to win a Super Bowl?
No, that's just an expectation. It's probably to get less pissed at Riley Moss.
Less pissed at that's a good one. I think he
does play good a lot of the time, but man, when I do see one mistake, I kind of give it to him.
That and Cortland
Sutton,
right?
It's deserved. No, Cortland Sutton deserves it.
Oh no, Sutton deserves it. Okay,
he's been in the league for a fat minute. He deserves it.
Gotcha.
We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, we're already getting Ryan fired up. It's going to be a good episode. You already know that. Andrew, let's go on over to you. What about you? What's your New Year's resolution going to be in 2026?
Yeah, hopefully getting an offensive line. I mean, good God, Justin Herbert's just getting dry humped out there. I mean, it was pretty ugly against the Texans. And I just wish our offensive line coach would learn how to protect Justin Herbert at some point. But for me personally, eat a little healthier, dominate on the pickleball courts as I always do, and continue to hit nukes in my softball league as the captain on a personal note. So that's a little bit for me. But hopefully the Chargers get a playoff win. Looks like we're sitting Herbert this week. I know plenty of frustrations and discussions around that. So we'll see how that goes with Trey Lance.
There you go, Andrew. Not just traveling 24/7 to cover the Chargers, but you're also balling out on your own respective time. That's what we love to hear at Roundtable Sports.
Exactly
man.
right.
The ultimate baller, Andrew from Bolt Bros, man. Let's go down to Marcus. Marcus, what's your New Year's resolution?
So I got two. I got one Chiefs related and one personal. Let's go. Hopefully we find a running back, be it free agency or in the draft. I hope we don't draft Jeremiah Love. I do not want to waste a top 10 pick on a running back. So yeah, I hope Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, I hope they come to Kansas City this coming off season here. And then personally, kind of to echo what Andrew said, but I got my own personal men's flag football league. We won the summer league. We only play in the spring and summer. We're going to run it back and win a spring league as well as the summer league. So that's we're going to go 3-peat with our men's flag football team. So that's my personal goal there.
Let's go, Marcus. What position do you play?
QB1, baby. Quarterback.
Oh, okay, my bad, Marcus. All right, Mr. Pat Mahomes himself. I mean, it only makes sense, right? You're a Chiefs fan, Pat Mahomes. It makes sense. My bad, Marcus. You know, I got to see the game. You know, I got to see some footage here from Marcus. Maybe that's what we'll do in the offseason. We'll break down some of the all-22 of Marcus, man.
We got plenty of it, man.
Dude, that's awesome. Shout out to Marcus, man. Balling off the field just like Andrew. All right, what about you, Joe? Any good New Year's resolutions?
Maybe help find the Raiders be good again. Maybe I don't know.
That's a big one.
But I don't know what Marcus is mad about. Like drafting a running back in top 10, that'd be perfect. Like it works for every team. Like every team that does it automatically becomes great. So just keep doing it. Just have fun, continue growing, and meeting new people, and that's the main thing. Is just have fun throughout the whole year. enjoy
I love
life.
that, Joe. Just live life. That is the best New Year's resolution you could possibly ask for. But guys, let us know your New Year's resolutions in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and let's transition on over to these games. But before we do that, of course, got to give a big shout out to one of the sponsors of today's video over at Sleeper. Use the promo code you see on the screen, RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Yes, you heard that right, up to a $100 match. That means that right now you place $100 with Sleeper, link in the description box below, and you can easily turn that into $200 free to play with. And if you know what you're doing, I'm just saying you can get a reimbursement check for the holiday season. Let's be honest, we could all use a little bit of that. Now, terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details, but they are currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. A lot of you guys are constantly hitting the like button, showing up every single week, some of you even donating, and those are great ways to support us here at the AFC West Roundtable and really everybody at Roundtable Sports. But if you want to go that extra mile in also supporting us, go ahead, click that link and use that code RTS, because supporting the sponsors, that supports the channel, supports everybody at Roundtable Sports. But all right, guys, let's transition back into these games, because boy, oh boy, is there a lot to talk about here from week 17. And we got to talk about the game that, I don't know, Marcus, I don't know if you wanted to win that game, but it almost made you lose your draft capital after you're already eliminated from the playoffs. And so I'll be excited to hear what you wanted to happen in that one. But the Denver Broncos do win a nail-biter over the Kansas City Chiefs, but close game for a third-string quarterback. Ryan, let's start off with you. What were your thoughts in this one? Are you happy they got away with the win? Or are you looking at this saying, why did you not win more confidently?
Yeah, the latter. Why did you not win more confidently? I was pulling my own hair out the whole time, even though we were winning and for pretty much the whole time. And I like this. I looked at the box score after, and it just didn't seem like that's the game I watched in terms of the Chiefs' offensive production. It seemed like the Broncos' defense was much worse than what the stats said, which is why I'm not just a stats guy. They got to pass the eye test, and they really didn't pass the eye test. I thought Bo played a solid game. But like, he was really the only main contributor on the offense. There was drop balls. Cortland Sutton dropped touchdown, 3 drop balls. Broncos fans, we will never, ever, unless it happens this year, but I don't think it will, win a Super Bowl with Cortland Sutton as our wide receiver 1. Kiss it goodbye. Kiss it goodbye as long as that piece of shit is on the team. Nice guy, terrible wide receiver. Should not be wide receiver 1 at all. No chance. Should have taken Luther Burden. We didn't need to take Jahdae Barron. So we screwed up there, but whatever. That's what really pissed me off during the game was drops, stuff like that. I thought Bo played well. You could see he was getting frustrated. He just didn't trust his receivers anymore, and he went and just rushed that touchdown in there. And the defense, they held up, but like, really, guys, to like, they let Oladokin drive down the field and at least get a shot. He was able to get a shot, and he was running around looking like a starting QB on that last drive, and none of it looked good. This team hasn't been getting sacks. I think that's apparent. That's why it always just really annoyed me when the analysts before the game would say, oh, this team gets to the quarterback. This team gets to the quarterback. The stats says we do, because we have a certain amount of sacks. We're now tied with the Bears, 85 Bears for the most amount of sacks. And we're probably going to break it, but it's going to have an asterisk there because, 16 games. Every record, with that extra game should have an asterisk there. And this team has not been able to get to the QB. Even with Kate, and Sean today or yesterday talked about he doesn't really care about it because they're cage rushing. And Vance Joseph talked earlier in the season about it, where he was saying Nick Bonito could go get so many more sacks, but it's what he's having him do in being a cage rusher to contain the quarterback. But still, where's Zach Allen getting that internal pressure? John Franklin Myers getting that internal pressure even when they're cage rushing. I still see a lot of these QBs escaping when we're cage rushing and we're not stacking them. Just go hit the quarterback. Hurt them. Bang them up. Like you did with Trevor Lawrence. We were able to sack Trevor Lawrence, I think, 3 times. Still lost, but yeah, it's definitely concerning. It's nice that we're going to I think we're going to secure the 1 seed, but shit, we almost lost to that third string QB, guys. So who knows? with Trey Lance. It's not a secure win. It's not a secure win, that's for sure. At least it's at home. Yeah, definitely still on the edge about the defense right now.
Yeah, certainly a lot of implications still for that game. And we're going to talk about Week 18 later on in today's video to kind of talk about what are the implications for the Broncos, for the Chargers, for all of these other teams. But let's go on over to you, Andrew, Mr. Dark Knight himself over there. What were your thoughts about this game? Because I know as a Chargers fan, you were looking at that game saying, dear God, Kansas City Chiefs, just pull this one out.
I was hoping like crazy. I mean, it would have been amazing. And what a cool story it would have been also if, how do you even say his name? Oladokin? Is that what is that? Oladokin?
Oladokin, yep.
Oladokin. He only got 66 yards, guys. So to put it in perspective, that they were even in this game was pretty shocking. It just goes to show you that it's really hard to win a football game in the NFL. No matter what the record you have, no matter who you think you are, no matter how good you've been, no matter what streak you've been in, it is hard to win a football game in the NFL. I think that's partially why I think the playoffs are so fascinating. Having said that, the Chiefs know how to win. It is what it is. They're an off year, as we know. But look, bottom line, great game. I watched a little bit of it for sure, but the stats were just really interesting. The team stats were kind of shocking. I mean, the overall total yards of the Chiefs got 139. That's bananas total. 57 passing yards, 82 rushing yards. I mean, clearly they're just trying to run the ball, but the Broncos 303 yards. You know, the defense hasn't been that great. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos actually perform in the playoffs this season. I can say that about every team, right? Every team, as soon as they get to the playoffs, really just has to be playing their best football. I would just make an argument that the Broncos right now are not playing their best football, which is a concern. And Ryan, I wish Samoan was here to give you some free therapy because I know he's your guy. But we do got you got Mr. Worley or Joe Morley here. So maybe you can give some words of advice to Ryan, kind of walk him off the ledge. But I'll just say this. I'm excited for the playoffs. We'll talk more about the Chargers-Broncos game coming up. But, normally, Joe, just so you know, Samoan does talk Ryan off the ledge, free therapy advice. So maybe if you have something.
I don't need that delusional optimism.
Words of wisdom from the basement, maybe, now and then Samoan comes on in as our unbiased co-host number 2. But let's go down to you, Marcus. What were your thoughts on this one? Obviously the other half of this game, and did you want to win this game? I think it's the biggest question. Or did you want them to lose and kind of have that better draft pick?
Yeah, I thought it was the best possible outcome because you have two sides of the Chiefs fan coin. You got one side that wanted us to get the best possible draft pick, and right now we are the number 9 pick. And you have the other side who just wants to see us win. I mean, fans just want to see us win. So I thought it was the best possible outcome because you saw a lot of guys who are going to be contributors next year and going forward step up in this game and play well. And the guys I'm talking about, you got Christian Fulton, who was a big offseason acquisition for us. We signed him to a 2-year deal. Didn't play at all healthy, scratching a lot of the games this year. And then Noah Williams, mid-round pick this past year. I thought he was going to get a lot of playing time. He's been off and on as far as game playing time. But this game, both those guys started and played really great this game. They both showed physicality, and they both showed that potentially – we could trade Trent McDuffie this offseason. We don't have to pay him that big salary, and you get assets for him. So I did like what I saw from a lot of the guys who contributed to this game. But at the end of the day, we lost and higher draft pick. So it was great. You saw some fight in the guys. You made the Broncos sweat, and then you have a better draft pick. But there's a few things in this one. I think that the ultimate winner of this game, I know wins are wins, and you're going to take it all day long. They won the AFC West. I saw Jonathan Cooper's tweet after the game or late night Saturday, which is kind of weird that we still own so much real estate in Broncos players' heads that you have 2 a.m. Tweets that he has to delete the next morning. Thought that was interesting. But, I thought we had 2 guys in this game, Issa Pole and Chu Godric, both guys who just got their debuts a couple weeks ago in the NFL, playing left and right tackle in this game. Chu Godric was an international developmental guy, never played football before until 2 years ago, playing like the fourth quarter preseason games. He stepped up, and Issa Pole both stepped up. Issa Pole had allowed 3 pressures again from the Broncos' elite pass rush. Chu Godric only allowed 1 pressure this game. These are 2 guys who just had their debuts. One's a UDFA and one's an International Pathway Program guy. And they stopped this vaunted Broncos pass rush to only 4 pressures in this whole game. So I thought that was a huge win for us. But the big winner of this game was every other team in the AFC playoff picture because you saw how much of a fraud this Broncos team is. Chris Oladokun, and you have two backup tackles. Defensive line was probably the only healthy bunch that we had, and it's a defensive line for the Chiefs that's kind of been underwhelming all year long. It was the only healthy bunch we had. Everything else was pretty much backups and guys who are trying to play for their future in Kansas City. And the fact that it came down to the final drive is scary. And I got to say, juxtapose this game to what last year's game was, right? Broncos had a lot to play for in this game. We didn't have crap to play for in this game. Last year, we didn't have anything to play for. We benched all our guys. Broncos had a lot to play for, and they dominated last year. And this past Thursday, it went down the wire. So I don't know if I'm a Broncos fan, were we a better team last year than we were this year? I don't know. But yeah, at the end of the day, we saw some fight, but we have a top 10 draft pick. And the last time we had a top 10 draft pick was 2013. We had the number 1 pick. With that, we drafted Eric Fisher with the number 1 pick. So I'm excited, man. Looking at mock drafts, Caleb Downs potential. Love it, man. Reuben Bain Jr. I love all the options. Just no Jeremiah Love, but yeah, it was a very happy outcome for Chief fans.
No Jeremiah Love.
You guys won the AFC West for the past 10 years. I think Jonathan Cooper has every right to, scream out Hitler's dead on social media.
Yeah, he deleted it, so puss move by him. So.
Oh, did he delete it?
He deleted it. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought he kept it up because
he didn't want that NFL fine a little bit later. He didn't want the Denver Broncos to have to release that. We acknowledge the situation. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe. I was a little under the influence as well, and I couldn't believe it with my own eyes when I saw it. I was like, everybody had to drink after that game. It was that rough, huh, Ryan?
Well, it wasn't after that game.
It was after the Chargers lost.
Yeah,
after the Chargers won.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got you.
Late night though. It was like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So late night.
It was a celebration. So
he's thinking about Patrick Mahomes at bedtime. He's doom scrolling and thinking about Patrick Mahomes. I love it. I love that we have the real estate.
Hey, it's some respect there. The Chiefs have been ruling the AFC West, and we had to take down the champs. That was goal number 1. That was the first goal.
Love it
in the AFC West.
I love it. I love the real estate, baby. Love it.
And so, Marcus, I feel like we also have to ask you, and this is something that kind of goes hand in hand with Week 18 there, but there was just a lot of discussion there about Travis Kelce this week. And so you personally, do you believe that Week 18 is going to be the final game that we see of Travis Kelce?
I don't know. Honestly, he's playing this up pretty well, and it's going to be a big New Heights episode when he makes his announcement that he's coming back. I know last year it was a Pat McAfee announced it. He texted McAfee, and McAfee announced it. I thought he missed a royal opportunity to tweet it or announce it himself on his podcast. I think if you watch his pregame interview with Tony Gonzalez, I think you see there that it's not. He still has that fire. I think. I think Tony pretty much said, I played till 37 because I didn't have a ring. You have all the hardware. What are you coming back for? And he said, yeah, no, I get it. But I still have that fire. So I do think, and plus the way, and I think if we didn't make the playoffs and Mahomes played out the season, I think he would have retired at the end of the season. But because a weird end Mahomes tearing his ACL and that's his final catch was in a game, a pitiful game against the Chargers. I don't know. I think he gives back for one more year. And that's what I think. I think it's one more year. I think he announced it, makes a swan song. And that's the thing, NFL versus the NBA is a little different, right? NBA guys will announce before the season, this is done for them. And every game they'll, pose with the player. A stadium will give him a plaque or something. Never really seen that in the NFL where a guy announces retirement before the season. So it might be the first time we see that in the NFL where Kelce kind of has a swan song. It makes production of every game as the final game in Indianapolis or whatever he plays. So.
Yeah, it is pretty rare. Sometimes you'll have players tiptoe around it, like Aaron Rodgers before the season started. A lot of speculation, all right, maybe this will be his last season, but nothing completely official. Same thing here for Travis Kelce, right? It's a lot of speculation, but it's nothing official. It's more so narratives than it is something that's confirmed by the player themselves. So certainly going to be interesting to watch moving forward, especially for a big-time competitor like Kelce is to end this season off the way they did, especially to lose the Super Bowl, last year too. Maybe a little bit of motivation still left in that tank to at least end on a higher note. So will certainly be interesting. But Joe, what about you? What did you think about this game?
Well, I mean, it's been the way the Broncos have been playing all year, right? They've been close games, and I was more impressed with the way that Kansas City came out and played and continued to stay in there and fight, even though it wasn't a good game by both teams, but it was just something that Kansas City could have easily came out, just laid down, got blown out. And everybody went, oh, yeah, they lost Mahomes, and it's just the way the season's been going. But so I was more impressed with the way they kept continuing to play for Andy Reid, especially if you read some of these fan boards and stuff like that, and you hear about, a lot of Chiefs fans aren't taking this season well. Like they haven't lost in like I have for 24 years, and they're used to it. So this is like their first time where you got to talk them off the ledge and just be okay with it. So I was impressed with it, but it's just like people are like worried about the Broncos, and I think you should be, but this is something that we've seen them do all season and win those close games. But the good thing for the Broncos is they're not the only ones going into the playoffs with question marks with their team. But I mean, they might have the number one seed and going in there, and they just knocked off the champs, so they have a little bit of momentum and a little bit of something in their corner that they can hang their hat on, right?
Absolutely. Well, guys, let us know your thoughts about this game in the comment section below. It's going to be really interesting to see, what Ryan kind of thinks about this team, along with even Andrew's thoughts about the Denver Broncos' current status when we start talking about Week 18 and just overall seeding and how things are going to enter for the postseason. But let's go ahead and let's get into this next game. Andrew, your Chargers take another disappointing loss here. Now, this is a team in the Houston Texans that have one of the best defenses that I think this league has seen, and that's really what's push them into the postseason. I think that's what makes them such a threat. But, nonetheless, a team that there is the potential for you to see in the postseason. I think we've just seen a lot of inconsistencies from the Chargers this year, and you guys just end up losing another one with still a lot on the line. So what were your thoughts on this one? What happened, and what are the implications to you guys losing this one?
Yeah, it's pretty big. Bottom line, the Texans are a great team. I mean, let's just give it up for them. They are an awesome team, awesome defensive line. We have one of the worst offensive lines. We've talked about it over and over again. I really don't want to belabor that point. Let me break down a couple things, though. We gave up 2 touchdowns passing in 5 minutes. Just so you guys know, the Chargers are the number one defense in the NFL in stopping X plays by passing, right? They always run too high safety. They do not give up deep passes. It was so strange to me to see that happen. So I'm going to put on my conspiracy hat here. And I know Wildcat said this in the chat and a few other people. This is one of those games that felt like Jim McMahon from WWE called Roger Goodell in the NFL and said, hey, this is how you rig a football game, just like we do in wrestling, right? And this is exactly the formula, right? So 2 touchdowns in 5 minutes. You put Bobby Hart, who hasn't played left tackle in over 4 years, almost since 2022, hasn't played football in almost 2 years. He was playing right tackle. They moved him to left tackle, whose idea was that I have no idea. He gave up almost every sack in this game. And there were 3 penalties done by the refs at the worst possible time, one of which being 3rd and 15, 2.5 minutes left in the game. We had our timeouts. We get the lamest little illegal touching defensive penalty to give them a first down, and they just continue driving. Aronde Gatson dropped a touchdown on the goal line, super uncharacteristic of him. And then also 2 missed field goals by Cameron Dicker, 1 extra point and 1 field goal. He's the highest percentage kicker in NFL history. If he had just kicked those 2, the extra point and the field goal, we would have tied the game and gone into overtime. So, again, the conspiracy theorist tinfoil hat, it just felt much like the NFL wanted the Texans to make the playoffs and maybe even rest Herbert for this final game, get him ready to go and have him ready to go, week 1 in the playoffs, right? So, we'll see what happens. Bottom line, it was a frustrating game to watch. The Chargers are a better team than that, but it is what it is. That offensive line, and I've said this so many times over. If you watch our podcast, Bold Pros, I have said this over and over again. Our offensive line is going to determine whether we go far in the playoffs or just get knocked out week 1. It's simple as that. And what concerns me is there's a lot of really good defensive lines we'd be going up against in the playoffs. So I get a little nervous, and it just goes to show you when you got a great defensive line like the Texans have, they can expose you real quick. So frustrating game. It is what it is. It's a loss. Herbert will be sitting this week versus the Broncos. I'm not a fan of that, but I get why they're doing it. So there we go.
Andrew, I got to get your opinion on this straight up, as unbiased as you possibly can, which I know you're very good at doing with your team. Give me a percentage on how confident you are about the Chargers' ability heading into the postseason. Like, how confident are you in this team to win a postseason game?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's interesting. I would say if I would say Herbert needs to rest, right? I think he's looked good. He's done a really good job. If you see pictures of his hands, it is beyond swollen after every single game. It is not good. Him resting for 2 weeks, I feel more confident going into the playoffs, even if we play the Patriots, which I don't love that idea. I'd rather be playing the Steelers or the Ravens potentially. But bottom line, I feel like if he's a healthy Herbert, we'll do better in the playoffs. And I think they're going to rest a lot of players that are also banged up, like Kamani Vidal, running back, and a few other folks. So if I were to give you a percentage, I would say 60-40 positive, 40 negative. I think, if you were to say to me, if Herbert was playing this week, I would say 50-50. So I think the coaching staff just believes that if you can give Herbert some rest, let some of these people that have been banged up, like a Kamani Vidal, get him ready to go, have a 2 running back, kind of weapon going into. I don't even think Ronnie Gatson Ronnie Gatson may sit. Maureen Hampton may sit. I think they might sit a lot of starters for this game. So I'm just saying this. I think us resting Herbert probably gives us a 60-40 chance.
Is this the most confident you felt about the Chargers entering the postseason in a very long time? Even dating back to 2018, when ironically you played the New England Patriots.
I'll say this. I don't worry about our defense. I think our defense is great. That offensive line is going to determine whether we can go deep in the playoffs or not. It is that bad. Like, Justin Herbert was dry humped up and down the field. So am I confident? I'm confident in everyone except the offensive line. That's what I'm confident with. Now, I'll say this. Last year, I felt more confident because I think I was a bit naive to my team. And I felt like, my team is just great. They're just going to win. They can do no wrong. But 60-40 is about as confident as I feel. That's, it's going to boil down to that offensive line. Can they protect Herbert at all?
Hey, 60-40. It's a solid number. It's a solid number, man. We'll see what that number thinks when the postseason does ultimately come along. Marcus, let's go down to you. What were your thoughts when watching this game?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, that's the key there. Like Andrew kind of said that we've been talking about that. We kind of beat that to a dead horse on the show, but that's a great defensive front the Texans have. Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson, and they kind of wreaked havoc right away in that game. The one thing I'll say, Chargers have a good defense. They kind of slowed that game down after those first 2 drives. But the one thing that kind of shocked me was the fact that the Texans kind of moved it up and down on them those first 2 drives of the game. I mean, Jaden Higgins looked phenomenal, and that was kind of I was like, that's interesting. Like, Texans are actually airing it out on the Chargers, and obviously you guys kind of like honed it in a little bit after those 2 drives, but that was kind of weird to see. And also, obviously, Dicker missing the extra point and the field goal. He's been nails all year long, and the fact that he kind of blew the game for you, it's not just his fault, but he makes those kicks. You got a potential overtime game coming. But yeah, I thought you guys don't want to play them in the playoffs. And as far as looking at the picture, I mean, really, if I was you guys, I would want to play Jacksonville or Houston. Those are the 2 teams I want to avoid just based on your offensive line play. And it looks like right now you guys would be playing Houston or Jacksonville in round 1. So that's a tough one. Josh Hines, Allen, and they got their own plethora of pass rushes as well over there. So it's going to be interesting if you guys throw this game. How would that affect seeding, Andrew? Would you guys drop to 7?
Probably. Yeah, probably. And again, I think it's risky. I mean, when I heard Harbaugh say this, we had a whole argument about this after the game. My one brother, Kyle, who hasn't been on this show, he's like, "Oh, just rest him, play Trey Lance." I'm like, "Man, that's stupid. Come on, we got to get a better seat. Let's go after the Steelers or the Ravens. Let's go after one of those guys, right?" And it's a big risk, but I can see the argument of trying to get Herbert healthy. He's fumbled the ball, I think, 5 times since he's had his hands broken, right? He cannot protect the ball. And if he's getting sacked, he can't protect the ball because he doesn't have his left hand to help him protect the ball. So it's a problem. So maybe 2 more weeks helps him out. And it's a risk either way, I guess. So hopefully in Harbaugh we trust. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, from a pass rush standpoint, I would say the team that you kind of would want to play would be probably New England, just because they don't have the pass rushers that the other teams I just mentioned do. So that's also scary too. Going to Foxborough, so that's its own animal too.
Bring them in.
Yep. Oh, Colby's scared. You scared or not scared, Colby? What's the deal?
I'll be honest. I want the Chargers. I kind of want the Chargers or the Steelers. I don't want the Texans. Honestly, I'd rather not play the Bills first round again. But like we saw what it was like in the postseason before when the Chargers come to New England. It's that shock, and it's absolutely blizzard cold in Foxborough right now.
Yeah.
That is weather's a major factor for a team that's maybe used to not playing in those situations, that climate.
Yeah, I got to get some electric underwear for those Chargers there. You know what I mean? Keep the boys nice and warm, So
On behalf of the ball,
that'll be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I believe it's if you guys lose and the Bills ultimately end up winning, then it's you guys drop to the 7th seed, something along those lines. And so as at least I'll say as Patriots fans, we're fully expecting to play the Chargers week 1. So we'll see how that goes, which, by the way, guys, Roundtable Sports is going to be doing something very, very special that we did last year. Some of you might remember, where we are going to be doing a showdown creator for every single playoff game, a matchup to really break down each and every single game for the playoffs. So make sure you guys go ahead and stay tuned for that on behalf of Ryan and, of course, Andrew. But let's go on over to you, Joe. What were your thoughts on this one?
I loved it. Anytime the Chargers can get a loss, and especially at SoFi Stadium, it's been good, because if there's one team that has so many new fans this year, and maybe all the Chiefs fans have jumped over, like it seems like the bandwagon has jumped on to the Chargers and the hype that's around them, and Charger fans coming out of nowhere. And maybe it's just me, because I do like to talk a lot of crap, and so I do get a lot of them in my comment section. So it's just something to laugh about, and to see Houston do it, because it was a week after the Raiders hung with the Texans. So it even makes the Chargers feel a little bit bad, because I can be like, hey, Geno Smith didn't have a problem with that defense, but Justin Herbert, the great Justin Herbert, did. But it just shows you that something that the Chargers have been dealing with all year is that offensive line. And if they was healthy, then it would be a different story. But the Charger fans that are crying about the penalties, like, welcome to the club. Like, this is something that we've all dealt with. Even the Raiders, how crappy we are, we deal with it. Don't put the game in the referee's hands. Like, if your kicker comes down to your kicker, if he would have made 2 of those kicks, the extra point and you had a tie game right there. If your tight end can hold on to the ball, you're good. Just a couple of plays that didn't go your way, and you put it in the referee's hand. Was it a bad call? Yeah, but this has been the worst year for roughing the passer and all those stuff. Like, I think I saw a stat that said we've had 88 roughing the passers this year, and out of those, 20 of them have decided games or something like that. It's been horrible. We've seen it where just a little face mask, hit a little face mask, and somebody's getting a bad penalty. So penalties have been it. The referees have been part of the game. You just can't let them do the outcome. But I love it. I love anytime we can make these new Bolt fans cry and welcome them, because I don't think a lot of them might be new to football, so they might not know what really is coming for them. This was just a warm up to what's coming for them in the playoffs, because we all know what happens when the Chargers make the playoffs.
Oh, you choking there, Joe?
I got something. Sorry, my bad.
Something in your throat.
Chargers are gonna Charger.
Chargers are going to Charger. Well, speaking of that, Ryan, what are your thoughts on this one?
Such a successful hate watch. It was just so glorious to see. Hey, Cameron Dicker had this coming. Unfortunately, because of the amount of times that annoying ass Rich Eisen, oh my gosh, he can't say his name normally. Dicker the kicker. Shut the fuck up. We get it. It rhymes. Holy shit. Like, I'm not even trying to hate on Dicker. Like, it's just Rich Eisen. Shut your mouth, dude. And everybody was saying on social media how they just can't stand listening to him. Anyways, Chargers. They put up a good fight against the Texans. I mean, not everybody can beat the Texans. Not every QB can lead their team to victory against the Texans like Bo Nix. And I will say, besides those first 2 touchdowns, Texans looked like they need to put Davis Mills in again, because CJ Stroud just regressed to being shit again. Like, I'm saying, guys, Davis Mills, he's the move for that team. He just keeps the offense efficient. He may not run around, make some of these flashy plays, but compared to what CJ Stroud is doing right now, but yeah, Chargers O-line getting decimated. It's what I expected from this game. against that pass rush. Texans have the real pass rush in this league. They got 2 big ass dudes with Danielle Hunter and other buddy there. I forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name for some reason. Dude that looks like Brawny. And Will Anderson.
Yeah, Will Anderson.
Yeah, but it was a great game to watch. It was great to see. I was so surprised Dicker missed those kicks because he is a money kicker. Like, it's insane. And I just love the way he kicks. I wish Will Lutz would kick that way because Will Lutz kicks curveballs and they scare the shit out of me. But always good to see, and it's going to be nice to see the Chargers lay down for us, even though it's kind of bittersweet because I do want to see them go play Jacksonville. Just because I kind of know it's going to happen, and I feel like they will be able to beat the Patriots. Sorry, Colby. But, hey, we get the 1 seed, and we get a week off. So.
Ryan. It's okay, Ryan. I'll see you.
I want you guys to beat the Chargers. I'd love to see the storyline of Drake May in his second year already beating Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert never having a playoff win. I'd love to see that. Trust me. I'm just saying I don't think you guys will be able to.
Ryan, man, I will see you here on Roundtable Sports for the AFC Championship game, man. I am looking forward to it. Book it, baby.
In Denver? In Denver?
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
But yeah, we remember what happens there.
It would be.
Remember what happens there.
It would be in Denver. You got me there. Oh man,
I would be going to that game as well. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I try to get
some tickets.
Chargers. A little expensive.
Come on, Chargers. Trey Lance, man, MVP. That's all I need. But guys, let us know your thoughts about this game in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and get to this final game here of Week 17 before we get into our final previews for the 2025 NFL season. Yeah, we had Samoan here last week, Joe, and he was like, yeah, like this is a game that I feel like we should be able to win, like this is 2 bad teams, but I'm going to give us the advantage. And, well, you guys didn't have the advantage. You guys still got blown out against the Giants, and it feels like when it rains, it pours right now for Raiders fans. Joe, is that how you feel right now when it rains, it pours?
I mean, well, I don't know why Samoan thought we had a chance to win. I don't know what he was thinking about right there. Like this is a game that's probably going to go down in history books and might even change some of the rules, right, of how not to tank, like, because both of these teams did exactly what they said they were going to do, and they both, I mean, once you put Brock Bowers and you put Jeremy Chin on there, it was like, okay, we don't want to win this game. Then the Giants played their games, and the Raiders came right back and go, let's put Max Crosby out for the season. And right there, it was like, yeah, this game is going to be ugly, and we deemed it the Toilet Bowl, the Tank Bowl, whatever you want to call it. And just, I was sitting next to Samoan Raider at the game, and Geno Smith, the 0-0, Geno Smith is driving, and we were like, oh, do we really want to see this score? Like, it sucks to root against your own team, but we're like, they're really going to win this game, right? And ruin the top pick. And then Geno throws the interception, and Samoan Raider starts going nuts, and I'm like, I don't know how to celebrate. Like, should I be celebrating? Should I be upset? And it's just like, it was just very interesting. But yeah, this to show you the matchup and how close we were even to the Giants or how the Raiders aren't even on the Giants same level. Like Jackson Dart, and it showed you what he can do and how good that team can be and how their future can be if they keep adding to it. Yeah, the Raiders, no discipline, nothing there. Special teams again, just horrible, nasty. But the good thing is there's only one more game to go.
Count it down there, Joe, baby. Count it down. Some people have like a countdown where it's like, oh, my vacation's coming up. I'm going on my cruise. I can't wait to see the days, the minutes, the hours, the seconds. I feel like that's what Raiders fans have for this final game. Like, the season ends in, 1 week, 12 hours, 1 second, you know what I'm saying? But Joe, my question to you is, obviously you guys are fighting here for this number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft, in large part hoping to get maybe a quarterback, dare I say, but you also have a lot of other teams that are looking to get a quarterback in this draft. Biggest team is probably going to be the Jets. And so they have a lot of firepower. They have a lot of first-round picks. I think they have like 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, something crazy like that. If you're the Raiders, would you decline any offer and stay pat if you have the number 1 pick and select a quarterback? Or would you be willing to take that haul of picks in order to move down and maybe not get the top quarterback in this upcoming draft?
Yeah, see, I'm the kind of guy that I love draft picks. That's what, if you can give me draft picks, I'm taking them all day. And a lot of people are still high on Fernando Mendoza. And I'm a Dante Moore guy. I like Dante Moore more because of his ceiling. But to be honest with you, both quarterbacks are only getting pushed because the NFL needs somebody to push in the draft this year. If it was a different year, like next year, both of these guys probably be pushed down a little bit more, probably be the 4th, 5th best quarterbacks in the draft. But you have to take what you can get in the draft. And the Raiders have been hurting so much at quarterback that they're kind of forced themselves into it. But like I try to tell people, like Raider fans, they don't like to hear it. We get stuck on one thing. You know, every fan base does. You get tunnel vision, and you hear Fernando Mendoza is the hot guy, and that's who we need. And they don't want to hear anything else. But yeah, if the Jets call and they go, hey, we'll come up from number 3 or number 4, and we'll give you multiple picks, why aren't you making that move? Why aren't you like looking at? Because you can look at what the Bears did. You can look at what Houston did, where they needed a quarterback and they waited and they got the haul and they made some trades, and then the next year went after their quarterback. Because next year, I mean, let's be honest, next year is supposed to be the quarterback draft, right? The NIL is basically helping develop quarterbacks now in the NFL. So starting next year, we should start seeing more polished quarterbacks come out of the draft. And that's what you're kind of waiting for. And the Raiders aren't one quarterback away from competing and doing anything in there. So it's not like I was trying to tell Simone Raider after the game, I go, even if you brought Fernando Mendoza onto this team, how many more wins do we have? 1, maybe 2? It's not that big of a difference. He's still going to have to struggle and bringing in. But like I said, I mean, I think the Raiders have forced themselves to draft a quarterback. So if they are number 1, I think that's where they're going. And could you imagine a Fernando Mendoza jersey out there? Like, if the Raiders only care about ticket sales and they don't care about wins, then you draft Fernando Mendoza and you don't look back at it.
It would certainly make the fan base happy if they stayed pat and took the quarterback. But I think the worst thing would be is if you do ultimately end up moving on from that number 1 overall pick and the Jets move up and they do take Mendoza and then he ends up becoming a star and then you guys are still having questions at the most important position in sports, then you're going to be looking at it saying, it doesn't really matter who you got with those other first round picks if you didn't hit on the quarterback. So it's going to be really interesting. And we're going to be talking about that really all off season long. So make sure you guys go ahead and stay tuned for that. But Ryan, let's go on up to you. What were your thoughts when watching this game? If you had any.
Just how bad the Raiders are. I mean, the Giants, given their record, I mean, they've just had a lot of unfortunate things happen to them throughout the season with the injuries. They're starting off pretty decent. They put up a good fight, and I mean, 34-10. The Raiders, besides the game, just Raiders being bad, you guys need to sell the team. Like, you need to make Tom sell his share of the team. Like, you guys are not a quarterback away, obviously. You're not a head coach away. You're not a couple draft picks away. You guys need to sell this team. That was the issue with the Broncos when Pat Bowlen became ill and was no longer really, like, managing the team or anything or overseeing it. It was just his dumbass kids. Everything went to shit. And right now you have Al Davis's dumbass kid. And even Tom Brady being there, Tom has showed that he's still like he's just not that guy. Bringing in Chip Kelly, like, really? We've seen that before. What are you thinking, Tom? Pete Carroll, you know, I guess that's a solid move, but also like Geno Smith, really, guys. All these, a lot of questionable moves that it's just top down from ownership. The Raiders, you guys got to sell the team. I don't know why you guys don't push for that more. Maybe it's because it's unrealistic, but I feel bad for you guys, but it's also kind of nice to see because it's just, you know, just always knowing that you guys are going to be there and you're going to be like that. So it's kind of comforting.
Man, let's go on over to you, Andrew. What were your thoughts when watching this one?
I mean, look, I'll say this. The Giants got a bright future. The Raiders don't. That's the easiest way of saying it. And just my unsolicited advice to Samoan and Mr. Joe Morley about the draft, I would trade back as well. If Dante Moore goes out, I would pick him first. Other than that, I would trade back, right? You guys have a lot of holes on that team. Top to bottom, nuts to butts, however you want to call it, you guys have a lot of problems. And another thing, too, I did talk about Samoan about this a couple times. You need to keep Pete Carroll. And I know people are saying, hang that dude, throw him over a bridge, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
He drafted well last year. Okay. He did a good job. But I just think there's some problems in that locker room. And again, you might say, well, Pete Carroll's a problem. I don't know that Pete's a problem. He drafted very well. I was very impressed. In fact, I will give you kudos. Raider fans, you finally have adults in the room that actually know what they're doing in the draft. I've seen some of the stupidest draft picks in my entire life with the Raiders. Pete Carroll at least knows how to build a team, right? So regardless of whether you like him or don't like him, whatnot, but at least I give him one more year, see how it goes. Having said that, let's go back to this game. Jackson Dart's legit. If that kid can just stop running and getting his head knocked in, you can't do that in the NFL and survive. I mean, Cam Scatterbo was just – they were eventually going to die, right? I mean, you're going to get your head knocked off, and that's what happened to Scatterbo. He's done. Jackson Dart needs to just start becoming a pocket passer. I remember that I was watching the announcer talk about how Jackson Dart was like, oh, man, that's not who I am. And I'm like, well, you ain't going to be in the NFL for very long if that's the case, buddy, because you're going to get your ass kicked every week. You're not going to survive an entire season. So, but going back to the Raiders, I'll just say this. You got a good base. You have some good pieces. You just need to start drafting better. And Pete Carroll's your guy. I think you'll do a good job. That game was interesting. Clearly, the Giants are a better team. They have a much better defensive line. The Raiders got a lot of work to do. But if you're a Raiders fan, just continue not being good. It's exciting. Keep talking about Mendoza. He's a terrible pick. I would pick Dante Moore over Mendoza, but you're right. Maybe selling tickets is all he cares about. Just goes to show you why the Raiders won't be relevant anytime soon if they're making decisions like that. So anyways, that was my final thought. Unsolicited advice, but you're welcome, Joe Morley.
You're certainly going to have to hit on the quarterback position if the Raiders want to turn this thing around anytime soon, because one thing is true, right? If you hit on the quarterback position and he becomes a franchise guy, you can turn your team around a lot quicker than people, expect. So you never know. I mean, hey, look at the Patriots. They went from 4 wins to now they're already at 13. And so you never know. It all started with a quarterback and good coaching. So sometimes it only takes one offseason if you just do things correctly, but you have to have a quarterback. Marcus, let's go down to you. Wrap us up. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I thought the whole weekend was kind of a weird whole thing with the Raiders. Crosby, a couple days after their last game, he says, tanking, he doesn't give a shit about that. He wants to play. And then they end up telling him he's out for the season with the MCL surgery, I believe, or meniscus surgery. And, he reportedly leaves the facilities. They post a video the morning of their game, shooting hoops at his house. Which I thought was odd. He had a bunch of advertisements all over his own personal gym, which is weird. I wouldn't have advertisements all over my gym. But I thought the whole thing was odd. And then Pete Carroll says we're doing fine. We see eye to eye on whatever's going on. I don't know if that's just coach speak, just trying to temper what's going on there. I mean, I thought the Raiders might have pulled this one out. But again, Jackson Dart, he's hearing the whispers of maybe they go a different route, because it's a different regime that's going to be drafting this time around. Maybe they want to go Mendoza. So he played his ass off in this one. I have seen some different type of off-season, fake trades. I'm curious to get Joe's opinion on this. If the Giants were to offer you the number 2 pick and Jackson Dart, would you do that for the number 1 pick?
Ooh.
I probably would. Why not? I mean, Simone Raider and I had this conversation too, and I was telling him, I was like, you have a year of knowing what Jackson Dart can and cannot do in the NFL. You've seen him, and you've seen him do it well, and he's what does he have, 3 wins right now in the NFL, and he's played it at that, and you're going to risk and not know, you hope that Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore can play in the NFL, but you don't know that risk is there. So I would take the guy that I already know that can do it. And you're only moving back 1 spot, and you can still, and then you can add another piece to it. Why not? Heck yeah, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of Raiders fans arguing about that because a lot are, in on the Cuban Missile. They want Mendoza, and some want more as well. But I think, the number, just move back 1 spot. You're getting a guy who showed flashes this year. Yeah, he gets concussed a lot, but he showed flashes this year. So, I thought that was an interesting one. I wanted to hear your thoughts on it. So, yeah, it's an ugly game, but Raiders finally get that number 1 pick. And I feel like after all these years, this is the first number 1 pick you guys have had since the J. Russ. Marcus Russell, is this the first time number 1 since Russell?
Ooh, Purple drink.
as bad as the Raiders have been, this is the first one. I mean, the last time the Raiders had the offense like this and all that was 2006, and it was horrible. That's when they traded Randy Moss, and they had the number 1 pick with Jamarcus, and it turned out pretty well. Hey, Jamarcus was giving advice. I don't know if you guys saw that. Somebody had him on a show, and he was like, "Yeah, to all these young rookies, just go in there and work hard." I was like, "This is not the guy you want to listen to." Like,
that's
man.
so funny. Well said.
That's awesome. Well, just don't be the Raiders in week 18 and mess up the draft capital that you got here, right? You're in the driver's seat. And even if you don't want to pick at 1, the capital that you can get even to move back 1 or 2 spots is really a franchise changing capital or franchise changing package of picks, really. So just make sure you've had a bad season. Week 18 is not the time to start having a good season. So
yeah, but the Raiders can't. It can be done before that game starts. Before the Raiders-Chiefs game starts, the Raiders could already have the number 1 locked up, depending on some of the wins and losses. But I mean, what an ultimate! Like, before we get into that game, I know we're gonna get into that game, but what Andy Reid can ultimately sabotage the Raiders this weekend, and it would be something that for days, right? That you would like. I could just sit here and laugh at it, but that would be an Andy Reid Chief kind of thing.
The Chiefs could lose, but morally win. Like, that is the definition of a moral win right there if they lose this one. But speaking of these games, let's go ahead and let's get into these week 18 games because we got 2 big in Division 1, some of which that have postseason implications. But before we do that, of course, want to give a big shout out to our good friends over at RotoWire. Make sure you guys use the promo code you see on the screen, RTS, and you will get 15% off. Little holiday opportunity here for you guys. We talked about RotoWire earlier this offseason, how to dominate your fantasy leagues, but now we're making sure here at Roundtable Sports that you guys make money this football season and don't lose money. Everybody loves to bet on the postseason, the Super Bowl right around the corner, and RotoWire is going to make sure that you have the best odds at making sure you hit on your lines, your parlays, your player props, and everything in between. What they're going to do is they're going to tell you lines that they want you to take the over on and lines they want you to take the under on. For example, this week in week 18, they want you to take the over on Aaron Rodgers passing yards of 200.5. They also want you to take the over on Ted McMillan receiving yards of 54.5, but they want you to take the under on Baker Mayfield passing yards of 229.5. All of this and so much more over at RotoWire. Remember that supporting the sponsors, that supports the channel, supports everybody at the AFC West Roundtable and everybody at Roundtable Sports. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into week 18, the final week here of the 2025 NFL season, which feels absolutely crazy because it feels like just yesterday we were previewing these games. We were previewing the preseason, talking about week 1, talking about training camp, man. Big shout out to the entire supporting cast here at the AFC West Roundtable for killing it in 2025. For some of these guys, this is going to be the final week here that they're talking about football until the start of 2026. For some of these guys, though, they still have at least an extra week of football to be talking about after this one. But let's go ahead and let's get into the first one because we have the game with big implications. Both teams that we are expecting to be postseason contenders. We got the Chargers. We got the Broncos. Ryan, let's start with you. Are you expecting the starters to play in this one? And what does a win mean for you guys?
Yeah. Starters are going to play. I don't know how many of the Chiefs starters won't be playing. I mean, obviously Justin Herbert, but he has a more serious injury. So it'll be interesting to see if they bench any other guys just for this game. But I fully expect at least hopefully we can get like a double-digit lead or so, maybe like 15, 20 points, and then some guys get benched. I expect a very run-heavy game, kind of like that Raiders game, the second Raiders game that we played, just, really control the game, bleed the clock. But it's not going to be easy because even if there are backups for the Chargers, those guys are playing for their jobs. Those guys are playing for they're putting out tape for other teams next year if they don't make it back with the Chargers. So it's just like how it was with the Chiefs. So I expect the Broncos to win. They win this game, we get the number 1 seed in the AFC. So then we get home field advantage and the bye as well. And I just also like to say it's been so nice. I barely had to move my spot in here. I've always been at the top. And after 10 years of just complete misery, it's nice to know that we clinched the spot. playoffs could come through Denver if the Broncos get the job done this weekend. But it is a little bit unfortunate that Herbert isn't playing because you kind of want to earn it, but Chargers they have some strategic benefit from this as well. So it is what it is. All that matters, we get the 1 seed.
All right, and Ryan is going to take his Denver Broncos here in Week 18. Of course, if they win, they get the number 1 seed. But if they lose, then the Patriots would get it. So a lot at stake for so many teams in the AFC.
Who did the Patriots play this week?
They play the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something to watch there.
We may have had an easy schedule, man, but holy shit, like. Jets
Will they play their
last
starters?
2 games? Oh my gosh.
You never know. You never know. But let's go on over to Andrew. The other half of this game, obviously, big time implications for you. Let everybody know what a win and a loss would mean for you guys in this one, and ultimately, what are you expecting to happen?
It's gonna be an interesting game. I'm excited to see what Trey Lance does. I'm not going to pick the Chargers for this one. That is the first time I've not picked the Chargers in this one. This entire season, guys, just so you know. And I'm going to say it only because Trey Lance, I saw him in the preseason, did not look good. I saw him a lot, right? I was at camp a number of times. He sailed balls, all the above. And I know he's gotten better. But I think this will be an interesting game. It'll be close. And I'm going to tell you why. We are going to make this game ugly. I do suspect Trey Lance will have max 25 pass attempts unless we get deep, down 14 points and we got to start slinging the ball. They are going to run the ball. The question is, who's going to run the ball? I do not think Amari Hampton will be out there. And I do not think Kamani Vidal will be there. So probably Hassan Haskins and probably Jarrett Patterson. We actually signed Jarrett Patterson last week from the practice squad. So he's actually on the team. So I do suspect he will be, you'll see our 4th and 5th string running backs actually be our running back. So it's going to be a little tough for Trey Lance, but Trey Lance is, of course, he has a 1-year contract. He needs to show people that he can actually be an NFL quarterback and maybe he'll get a job next year. I do suspect though, you'll see quite a few of the starters out there, at least for a little bit in this game. I don't think you'll see Derwin James. I don't think you'll see some of the major starters, but we have some really good backups that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for some spots. Right. So, Nico Reed will probably be out there, an undrafted free agent that's done really well out of Oregon, and a few others. I don't really want to name names, but bottom line, I think this will be an interesting game. I think they will make this an ugly defensive matchup. Right now, even with our backups, I think our defense is good. The scheme that we play is actually really good, and I do like what we do. I think it's very good to, we'll get some overthrows, as people like to say. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm very curious to see how the defense performs without our starters. And I'm very curious to see how our offense performs without our starters. I'm also curious to see how many actual offensive linemen actually play. We have been so banged up. Jamari Sawyer won't be there. Left tackle, most likely. You'll probably see Austin Deckles. He actually played halfway decent once they finally benched Bobby Hart last week. So I'm curious to see who's there. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm very curious to see how Trey Lance does. I suspect a lot of RPOs, a lot of zone read runs. I suspect a lot of quick passes. I don't see a lot of downfield throws because we all know Trey Lance can give up the ball pretty quick. So I think the Broncos win by 3, and that pains me so bad to even say that. But at the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh said it best. We want Justin Herbert healthy for the playoffs, no matter who we play. A healthy Justin Herbert's more valuable for us than a win in this scenario is ultimately what Jim Harbaugh said. So in Harbaugh we trust. We'll see what happens.
Definitely for the Chargers, the mindset is postseason, right? The mindset is not whatever happens here in Week 18. And so you guys are in, more likely, right? Have you guys clinched, actually?
Yeah, we clinched, yeah.
So you guys have clinched, right? So you're in either way. That's all that matters. And so it ultimately just comes down to seeding. And so health, that's all that matters. So big ups to the Chargers there for recognizing that and then doing the smart thing. But let's go down to you, Marcus. What are your thoughts on this one?
Chargers are waving the white flag on this game. Broncos, we saw last year when the Chiefs, the rest of their guys, Broncos bringing their A game out against teams, D players. So Broncos are going to win this game big time. But yeah, I will say though, you guys did kind of play our C squad last week, and still that was close. But I think the Broncos at home, I think after almost losing that game last week, that shitty Chiefs squad, I think Broncos kind of a buck up and they win this game. 12.5-point spread. I think they win by 2 touchdowns. I think they go into playoffs with a big dub, I think.
Marcus has them taking care of absolute business this week. Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I think the Broncos are going to come out here and try to make a statement and get that momentum going into it. And basically, when you saw the news that Herbert was not playing, you knew the Chargers weren't going to take this game serious. And this is the second year in a row that the Broncos are just handed a gift by their own division, right? Last year, the Chiefs handed them a playoff spot by, resting their players. Now they're going to get handed the number 1 seed. Like, are the Broncos – are they that not respected by the rest of the AFC where they're like, hey, we'll rather go to your house and play you? Like I think that's an insult, but I think Sean Payton is looking at this game because resting the starters it hasn't worked out pretty well for a lot of the teams in the past couple of years. So I think they're going to go out there and they're going to make that statement and they're going to show the Chargers. I know the Charger fans are out there going, we don't need to play them because we saw what would happen in week 3. Like, come on. Chargers, you ain't ready for that. You ain't ready for it.
Well, only time is going to tell. Let us know your guys' thoughts about this one in the comment section below. A game that has a lot of implications. And look, I know people are going to be like, what is this guy talking about? The Chargers clinched a few weeks ago. Look, I've been in graduation mode for the last 3 months, so I haven't really been focused on the Chargers. But, Andrew, it's good to know that you guys officially clinched and that this game really quite literally means absolutely nothing for you guys. But let's go ahead and let's get into the final game here for Week 18 because we got the game that means absolutely nothing other than overall draft status. In fact, I think this one, the true winner, comes down to what team actually ends up losing, right? Because I don't think either of these teams really want to win all that much. So, Marcus, let's start off with you. What do you have happening in this one, and do you want to win this game?
So pretty much we saw last week the Raiders are done for the season, tanking by sending Max Crosby home. And yeah, it looks like the writing's on the wall for them. They got the number 1 pick. They're set in that. Andy Reid could do something interesting this week. He's 6 wins at Allegiant Stadium, 6-0. He's tied with Antonio Pierce and Josh McDaniels at 6 wins. So if he wins this game, he goes to 7 most wins at Allegiant Stadium at the Raiders facility, which is nuts because if you include the Super Bowl as well, that's 7 wins at Allegiant Stadium. So he could do that this week. So I got to say, I'm actually going to go with the Raiders this week. And I didn't have any Raiders gear. I don't have any Raiders gear, but the closest thing I do have is a Rich Gannon jersey. And most Chief fans know that was a horrible thing. We let Rich Gannon go in the late 90s and early 2000s to the Raiders. He ended up becoming the MVP. And the last time the Raiders were really relevant was Rich Gannon was their starting quarterback. But, the Chiefs since December 3rd have placed 12 guys on IR. Pete Carroll could potentially be coaching his last football game, and they've already secured the number 1 pick. And I think Pete Carroll's going to go out and put it all out on the field. I think Ian Rappaport tweeted this week and reported that this might be the end for Pete Carroll. And I think as a guy who has such a big career as he does, I think he's going to want to go out with a bang, at least a win here. But yeah, I think the Chiefs, man, right now, I know the players don't care about the number 1 picks or what picks they are, but Chiefs have a 21% chance to get the number 8 pick. Right now we are the 9th pick, 36% chance to keep the 9th pick. And then worst case would be the 12th pick. But losing this game would really pay off to being the number 9 pick. So this week I'm going with the Raiders, and I'm going to be rooting for the Raiders, baby. Rich Gannon style.
All right, so Marcus is not going to be rooting for his Chiefs this week. He wants the better draft pick. Wow. I mean, hey, at this point, probably makes the most sense for the Chiefs anyway. But, Joe, let's go on over to you. Let us know what a win or a loss would mean here for the Raiders. And do you want to win this game or do you want to lose this game?
I mean, I never root against my team to lose. I never want to see them, and I won't get upset if they win because I worry about the offseason in the offseason. But, I mean, if Geno Smith was starting this game, then I'd be like, yeah, Raiders going to lose this game. But now with Kenny Pickett or maybe AOC coming in here, they might have a little bit of fire that they want to play with. And like you said, this more than likely, and I do believe that this is Pete Carroll's last game with the Las Vegas Raiders, and they'll move on from him there. But even if the Raiders want to win this game or the players want to win this game, they just don't have it. They're not good enough to win this game. Like, that's the sad thing, is like they're going to make the mistakes and it's going to look ugly. They haven't been able to get all three aspects of the game going in one time. The only positive I would like is to see Ashton Genty do something right and build his confidence going into next season and get it going. But I mean, that's it. That's all the Raiders have. They have nothing else. They have nobody on defense. You saw how bad the defensive line was when Max Crosby's not there. And basically they have said that they don't have the firepower. When Max left, that locker room went back down and he was holding it together. So it would be interesting to see if one of these teams get the lead and the other team just starts running the ball. And I mean, somebody said in the comments right now, take a 0-0 tie. I'll take that too. Why not?
You guys could both be disappointed there at the same time, but also slightly happy at the same time. But let's go on up to Ryan. Ryan, what are your thoughts here on the toilet bowl?
I mean, I'm not going to pay attention to this game. It's just as bad as last week's game for the Raiders. Chiefs are going to win this one. Raiders, you guys are going to get the, I guess, dub in this and have a better draft position. Although it would be hilarious to see the Raiders win this one, just worse than their draft position. Oh, well, do you guys have the number one pick? Yeah, you guys have it for sure, right? Or if you win.
Yeah, the Raiders are right now 89% chance of having it. They just need a couple things. They could have, like I said, a couple teams lose. There's like 3 teams that need to lose. I forget which ones, and they can have it wrapped up before game time. But if they lose 100%, it's theirs.
Okay. Yeah, well, good for you guys. Congrats on getting the number one first round or number one overall pick, and can't wait to see how you guys screw it up. And Chiefs, congrats on just having a high pick this year. But nice to see the Chiefs end the season off on a meaningless game. And even if they get a better draft pick, still nice to see, and we're up top, so that's all that matters for me. So, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this game.
All right, Ryan's going to take the Chiefs. Andrew, wrap us up on here with our final previews here for the 2025 NFL season. What do you think about this one?
This one's an interesting one for me. No, not really. But I'll say this. The Chiefs win. The Chiefs win. I'm going to pick the Chiefs on this one just because you could probably suit up Andy Reid and probably beat the Raiders at this point, right? They're that bad. But look, at the end of the day, the Raiders just don't know how to win, and that's just how they are. And I think the Chiefs can play their backups and still get the W here. But I will be watching this game because I'm always curious to see what backups do. I like that. I think it's interesting, but I do think the Chiefs have way too much talent across the board, and the Raiders just want this season to be over and move on with the rest of their lives and just look into next year. So I think the Chiefs get the dub here.
Oh, man, Marcus, did you think that before the season started that we'd be in week 18 and your heart would drop when you heard the rest of the cast, the rest of the panel say that you were going to win a game, man? I mean, what a 360 that one is. But guys, look, that's going to wrap us up here for our week 18 previews and our breakdown of week 17. This is where we kick it off to you guys. What do you think is going to happen in the final week of the 2025 NFL season? Let us know in the comment section below. As always, we will be live here, same place, same time next Tuesday to break down what happened in this final week and start talking about meaningful playoff football. Hope to see you guys there. But as always, I'm Colby Cochran, host here of the AFC West Roundtable, a show brought to you by Roundtable Sports. We'll see you next time.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, And the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, Fourth and Forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.